Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. This week, the Town Council honors Lawrence Brook School for being named a National School of Excellence and distributes EB18 awards to local business owners. Also, we'll preview Crossroads Theater Company's production, The Disappearance. A portable planetarium brings the stars to students at St. Bart's. And fifth graders from Lawrence Brook check out computerized databases available at the East Brunswick Public Library. These stories and more this week, including information on how to introduce a new pet to your home on Your Pet Doctor. But first, here's a look at programming next week on Channel 8. Get into some resistance training with Lenore Kulik as she demonstrates Bands Plus. That's on Look Great, Feel Great Monday morning at 10. And at 10:30, preschoolers enjoy really far-out stories about outer space on Stories from the Library. This month's edition of EB18 features interviews with Township Director of Planning and Engineering Leslie McGowan and Municipal Clerk Elizabeth Kiss. That's Tuesday night at 7. Sports Talk follows at 7:30 Tuesday night. Brian Vanderbeek, senior sports writer for the Home News, talks with host John Megliaro. At 8 o'clock, Larry Sachs discusses property tax appeals with Stephen Brodman on Legally Speaking. Crossroads Theater Company and its current production, The Disappearance, are spotlighted this month on For Art's Sake. Dolly Basta speaks with associate producer Kenneth Johnson and narrator Carl Lumley. Don't miss it Wednesday night at 7:30. The Arts at 8 o'clock was recorded on location at the Middlesex County Museum in Piscataway. Tour the exhibit there, The Legends, Mythology, and Games of New Jersey, and hear stories of Native Americans, pirates, the Jersey Devil, and the Underground Railroad. A new edition of this program, This Week in East Brunswick, will be shown twice Thursday night at 7 and 8 o'clock. At 7:30, Patty Sullivan explores the effects of medicine on the mind and moods with Dr. Hilary Hanchuk on aging aspects. Watch the Channel 8 bulletin board for programming updates and coverage of high school sports. At Monday night's Township Council agenda meeting, Council President Dave Zarnowski presented a resolution honoring Lawrence Brook School for being named a National School of Excellence. Lawrence Brook Principal Michael LaRosse and Community Relations Director Amy Fisher were on hand to accept the award.
Whereas Lawrence Brook School is one of 228 schools throughout the country that has been named the National School of Excellence in the 1991-92 Elementary School Recognition Program conducted by the U.S. Department of Education. And whereas this is the third consecutive year that an East Brunswick school has been honored in the project, also known as the Blue Ribbon Schools Program. Irwin School having been a national winner in 1990, and East Brunswick High School having been a winner in 1991. And whereas the application submitted by Lawrence Brook School was one of only 12 submitted by the New Jersey State Department of Education to Washington for consideration for a site visit by a National Review panel. Whereas in October 1992, the representative of the U.S. Department of Education spent 2 days at Lawrence Brook School talking with staff members, students, and parents, visiting classrooms, and reviewing statistical information about student achievement. And whereas, according to information published by the U.S. Department of Education, for a school to be recognized, there must be clear evidence that its students are developing reasoning and problem-solving abilities and attaining solid skills in a variety of subjects. And this year, special emphasis has been given to effective programs in history and mathematics. And whereas schools are evaluated on factors such as demonstrating a high quality of leadership, providing an environment that promotes teacher growth and recognition, using up-to-date and rigorous core curriculum and instruction, maintaining a safe, orderly, and drug-free climate, and encouraging strong parent and community support. And whereas the Mayor and Township Council are extremely proud of the fact that Lawrence Brook School has been named the National School of Excellence, and the Mayor and Council hereby congratulate the East Brunswick Board of Education, Dr. John Kopko, Superintendent of Schools, Lawrence Brook Principal Michael LaRosse, and the faculty, staff, students, and parents of Lawrence Brook School. Congratulations.
Also honored Monday night were local business owners who received EB18 awards. EB18 is the East Brunswick Business Appearance Improvement Committee, which works with local business owners to upgrade and maintain the appearance of their property. The committee also has a regular program on Channel 8 and will feature all of the award winners recognized Monday night in February's program. Check the Channel 8 program schedule for dates and times. In other council news, in reaction to Councilman Tom Clark's prepared response at last Monday's meeting regarding alleged dumping on public school property, Dr. David Seiden, school board president, offered his response.
The debris apparently had accumulated over a period of many years and had been placed there by a party or parties unknown. The school system appropriately went about the business of removing this debris and brought in a backhoe to assist in the work. As this work progressed, Mr. Clark observed some of this debris, since the area was now more accessible and more observable as the result of the cleanup in progress. Apparently, he was concerned about the debris. Rather than call the school system to find out about it, he publicly asserted that the school system was dumping in the area and cited the tire tracks from the backhoe as evidence to support his allegation.
The Department of Environmental Protection and Energy said that the school board failed to obtain permits for dumping in a wetlands area. However, they said that an official notice of violation was not necessary because there was little or no impact to the environment. Also at Monday's meeting, East Brunswick Police Captain Fred Laurie gave the council an update on the use of the 911 emergency system.
The governor in 1989, to be specific, January 1989, signed the Public Law 52:17C, which basically said that 911 service shall be implemented in the state of New Jersey in a 3-year period. Shortly after the PL was signed into legislation, 911 began in East Brunswick Township. At that time, I was a lieutenant. I was designated by John Cross, the Director of Public Safety, to head this particular project. The project has progressed. We have gone through all of the mapping and the enhanced database, and you should note that this is an enhanced system which will be coming to Middlesex County. What we can expect from our 911 system is that when anyone goes to a telephone in East Brunswick Township, whether it be a payphone or whether it be a private home phone, as soon as they dial 911, and even before the dispatcher picks up the call in our communications bureau, we will have a enhanced database info stream which will tell us the phone number and where that call was placed, the name of the party, who owns that particular phone, the address of that party, the fire company that services that particular location, and also the rescue squad that services that location.
Captain Laurie stated that the implementation of the enhanced 911 system will take place within the next several weeks.
Carmela Maria Fuentes learned some pretty important things at school today, things that could make her life a lot happier. Thanks to teaching tools developed by the American Heart Association, Carmela learned all about her heart, about how it sounds, how it feels, even what to eat to keep it healthy.
Hey, Grandma!
Lessons learned in the laboratory are now lessons for your children.
You want to feel my heart, Grandma?
You can help prevent heart disease. We can tell you how.
The Crossroads Theater Company in New Brunswick is currently performing The Disappearance, a book which has been adapted to the stage by actress Ruby Dee, who also performs in the play as one of its narrators. On February's For Art's Sake, Dolly Vasta speaks with Crossroads associate producer Ken Johnson and Carl Lumley, an actor and also a narrator in The Disappearance.
A middle-class family decides, well, really the mother of the middle-class family decides to bring a foster child into the home. She has been involved in a series of court cases, and she saw this young man. He was involved in a murder trial, and his friends finally testified that he had nothing to do with it. She thought that he would end up going to a situation where he might not receive the love. She saw something special in him and wanted to bring him into her home, and she does that. And then without tipping anything off, a disappearance occurs. Someone turns up missing, and suspicion immediately falls on this young man, more so because of his background and his recent history than because of anything innately in him. He is a very beautiful, very intelligent young man, and as it turns out, he will be responsible for solving the disappearance.
In fact, it's kind of a light on our times right now that it's really not innocent until proven guilty. It's almost guilty till proven innocent.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
People,
it's a
yes.
sad reflection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In fact, we're lucky enough, and we do have a piece of tape. And so with the first piece of tape that we do have, you want to set this up for us?
Yes. This woman, Mrs. Amesley, has made this decision, and she's receiving some resistance from her family, as well as other people in the neighborhood. But this is he has arrived in the house, he is there, and at this point, she has left him alone to cook his breakfast. No one else is in the house, and he is there by himself. This is his first day.
Why don't we take a look at that?
After he had eaten, Imamu washed and wiped his plate and the fork and the pan and put them away, and then he went to choose the glass he wanted to drink from. Standing on a chair, he searched through the shelves. Those on the top shelf were made of heavy cut crystal. Some of them had long stems. From among these, he chose a wine glass. He took it back to the table. He poured out his milk, and then he took a jar of cherries from the refrigerator and added enough syrup to turn the milk a deep pink.
So at this point in the piece, our young man Imamu is in a world that he is really not familiar with. This is a beautiful home, a fully stocked refrigerator, and one of the other things that he's quite struck by is there's all this art on the wall. You know, reproductions of very famous paintings, but also central to this, there is an original painting done by a former tenant of this family, and that painting becomes what his understanding of the painting. He sees things in this painting that this family has not been able to see, and it is what he sees in the painting and understands about the painting that ultimately leads him to the discovery of where this person who has disappeared will be found.
So what happens to him then? I mean, after he does this whole mishmash of this, the syrup and the glass and that?
Essentially what happens is the person who disappears turns up missing. And the next thing we see is this family who has brought him into this home turning against him. And he becomes the object of suspicion, solely because this is, after all, a young man from the street.
Now, what happened to your hand?
Ain't nothing to do with you.
Hey, I asked you a question. Don't let me get mean.
And I said it ain't got nothing to do with you.
He hurt his hand at my Aunt Dora's.
Oh, no, man. He come to me with his cut hand. I bandaged it. You lied. You lied. He said he cut his hand on Anne Crystal Glass. Is he blood you must see there?
Dorabelle got up and walking to the glass cabinet, opened it, and stood looking at the top shelf.
Hey, but they look all there.
Heads turned toward the glass cabinet. Eyes stared up, following Dorabelle's. Crazy. All they had to do was count them. He wanted to laugh. Everything seemed so simple. But it was so simple, then why didn't he tell them to count them?
What did you do with her? What did you do with my child?
Okay, out with it. What you do with the kid? You hear me? Hey, I'm talking to you, man. What you do with it? Look, I'm asking you just one more time.
You a simple mother.
You never answered about your hand.
We can take you where we can make you talk.
And where you think that's gonna get you?
I'll tell you where. Just as far as we can make you go. Off me, nigga.
The Disappearance will run at the Crossroads Theater through February 21st. Call the box office for ticket information. For more of Dolly Vasta's interview Watch for Art's Sake, February 10th at 7:30 p.m. and February 24th also at 7:30. And check the Channel 8 program guide for reruns. This past week, students at St. Bartholomew's School took a trip to outer space. Actually, space visited St. Bart's through Gloria Rawl of the New Jersey State Museum and her portable North Star Planetarium. Teacher Jean Veraska explains.
We have with us today Gloria Rawl from the North Star Planetarium, which is an outreach of the New Jersey State Museum and Planetarium. It's a traveling planetarium, and it's a 16-foot mylar balloon that blows up, and inside is a star projector that shoots the night and day sky so that the children can learn a lot about constellations and star groups, quasars, black holes, and all kinds of things that have to do with astronomy.
And this is a 2-day program here at the school. Is this part of the curriculum that the children are studying in a science class or something?
Yes, we are all studying some form of astronomy from kindergarten through 8th grade, and this is kind of a finale to it all through the courtesy of our HSA.
This is a portable planetarium. Usually you think of a planetarium as a big special room in a museum, but these portable planetariums are very, very popular, and they're all over the country, all over the world. And those of us in planetariums like to work with them. Today we're going to go inside, and we're going to make pretend pictures with stars. What do you call pretend pictures with stars?
Imagination.
That's right. But there's a special word. What's the pretend pictures in the sky? Did you ever hear the word constellation? Constellations are pretend pictures in the sky, and we're going to learn to recognize some of the ones that people have been finding for years and years.
We're going to time. And my toe. It's going down. It's going down.
That's Mars, taken from one of the spacecraft. The dark streak right around the equator is actually a canyon. It's the biggest canyon in the solar system. If it were in the United States, it would stretch from the Pacific to the Atlantic. This is the surface of Venus. Very recent photo by the spacecraft Magellan, and we've just in the past year for the first time seen the surface of Venus. So these pictures are new, and most of the kids are getting their first look at the surface of Venus. Venus proves to be covered with volcanoes that are erupting in this case, and that's what we're looking at. It's not a friendly planet for humans. The temperature is 900 degrees. It's the outline of Taurus the Bull. That's a constellation in the sky right now, and the picture helps the children understand how the star pattern really, if you pretend, can be pretended that it's a bull. That's Canis Major, the big dog in the sky. That's another constellation kids are learning. What they do is they look at the star pattern in the sky, and constellations don't really tend to look like their names. They're abstract art, and we use the slides to help them see how you can turn that star pattern into a dog.
Well, they've been very excited, the younger ones especially. It's a very, very interesting program, and they have found it fun to go in, and they have also learned quite a lot.
Hi, welcome back once again to Your Pet Doctor. I'm your host, Dolly Vasta, and my co-host is?
I'm Dr. Brian Johnson from the Cranberry Veterinary Hospital in East Brunswick.
Yes, and we're going to talk about a subject today that a lot of people have talked to both you and I about, and that's introducing a new pet in the home.
Yes,
okay.
Very, very important.
Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
All right. I have, say I have a dog, 2 years old, which I do, and I decided that I wanted to bring maybe not one, but 2 kittens. Maybe 2 kittens and a bird, because I have room for all. How would you go about doing it? You don't just throw them all together and hope they get along.
No, the existing animal, dog or cat, They're bonded to the household, and that household is theirs. They get very jealous and very protective of their household, and you have to introduce it slowly. Dogs are a little bit different from cats, but essentially you do it on a very gradual basis, and the thing that most people fail to do is to give the existing animal more attention, because you get this nice little kitten or this little puppy dog, and you want to tend to play with
That's
it.
cuddly and the whole thing.
And you
yeah.
tend to ignore the dog. Same thing happens when a new baby comes into the household. You treat them essentially the same way. You have to give the existing dog or cat an enormous amount of attention so that he does not get the feeling that he's being set down, and you have to make the introduction on a gradual basis. Don't just stick them together and hope one lives. They probably will, but you're going to have a mess. What you want to do is have them at the opposite ends of the room. Let them see each other for about a week. Then the second week, let the little one have freedom to roam, and you will find in every case the youngster will go over to the old one, and the older one will get mad and leave the room. It happens every time. So you let this happen a little bit until they become accustomed to one another. Usually by the end of the third week, the older one will be inquisitive. He's gotten over the initial shock. He's been given lots of attention. He knows that he's not being forsaken. So he'll lay there, paws tucked in, or he'll look at the little one and once in a while go over and sniff. If it's a cat, he'll probably sniff it and then spit at it and then walk away. Gradually, you introduce them, and you're usually all right. I had a cat, big fat cat named Mo, and he was a Siamese cat. Every time I brought a new animal to the house, his manifestation was to urinate all over the place. So I found the solution. As soon as I'd come in, I'd pick up Mo, and I'd carry him. And I'd carry him from the house to the kitchen. I'd set him down, I'd eat dinner, I'd pick him up and carry him to the living room. And if I was going someplace else, I'd pick them up. Don't let them follow you. Mm-hmm. They're seeking attention. Pick them up before they seek it and carry them. By the fourth day, I remember I walked into the house. He looked at me, put his ears down, and said, "Oh, God, leave me alone."
That's already.
When you get to that stage, then they're fine. The point is, number one, give them an inordinate amount of attention. Don't let them see the little one getting a lot of attention for the first couple of weeks. Give it to the older one. Certainly play with the new puppy or kitten, but don't do it right in front of them. And make the introduction on a neutral basis where you don't show attention to either one of them.
All right, now you're at your house, and we're going to have to make this fast because I see I'm already getting signals.
Right.
But your house now has everything in it.
Well, it's been said.
Well, just about. Just about.
I have 4 birds, 4 cats, 3 dogs, 2 children, 1 wife. In no particular order.
I'm glad you said that because Ronnie's in the control room and you're in deep trouble when you get out of there. But did you have to do this with every one of the new animals you
Essentially, yes. Yes. Last night with the new bird coming in, we had everybody else grouped together, and I'd pat the dog, scratch the cat, pat the dog, lift the cat, pat this one, and you just keep on going around. Essentially, yes. This is the way it has to be done.
I certainly hope you get around to Ronnie occasionally.
Yes. That's the one you have to be most careful of.
That's right. Well, good. Okay, I hope you all got something out of that, and good luck with your new pet. We'll see you all next week. Take care.
In years past, Township 5th graders have been visited in their schools by librarians from the East Brunswick Public Library. The librarians hoped to spark an interest in reading and talked about a particularly appealing book and read portions from it. However, with the growing reliance on CD-ROM databases for information, it was decided this year to bring the 5th graders to the library to see the wide range of electronic and print sources now available to them. This group from Lawrencebrook, like all of the township's 5th graders, enjoyed a tour of the library's resources and heard a book talk by Youth Services librarian Lucretia Lipper.
I'd like to read you part of a poem first. This is from a book by Jack Perlotsky. And this poem is called The Mummy. Now it walks the scorching desert, all its being filled with rage. Ancient rage, it's born for eons, since a dim primordial age, and it staggers blindly onward, mud-encrusted, caked with clay, and it permeates the desert with the stench of foul decay.
In addition, the children were introduced to the public access catalog and to the Reader's Guide abstracts by school media specialist Pat Hauser.
Print sources are those that are in books or pamphlet form. This is an online source because it's on a CD-ROM disc using a computer. So we have two different kinds of sources. They do the same job for us, but one is in print or readable form, and the other one we access the information through the computer. So any index like this will do the same job for you. It's just a different form of finding the information. This one will give you a summary.
Lawrence Brook teacher Catherine Brunner gave an overview of print reference sources.
You could look at this, 1967, it's by years. And they take the year and look at all this, just on that year. So, right. So say if you looked up something in an encyclopedia and it might have said Bill Clinton went to Oxford University in 1972. You might want to find out what was happening in the world in 1972 when he was there, and list some interesting, trivial kinds of facts down in your paper about the year.
And reference librarian Margie Stockwell instructed the kids in using the magazine and national newspaper indexes.
Remember, you can type in any topic you want, any name, any place. We're going to practice with Hillary Clinton. How does a person's name get entered?
The
last name first. You got it. Okay, so it's Clinton Hillary, and you don't need any punctuation or capital letters or anything like that. And Hillary is Hill, H-I-L-L-A-R-Y. And it's going to go to Hillary Clinton in the index. Okay. Now, unlike the index in the book, you can only see a tiny piece of this. And I just want to show you what some of it, more of it looks like. Push that prior line key, Dana, a whole bunch of times. A whole lot of times. You see how we get more topics here?
That's all for now. Thanks for watching.